in the neon-soaked streets of Palo Alto, California, where the next billion-dollar idea is born every minute in a coffee shop, lived a man named Miles. To the young engineers at Aegis Tech, Miles was just the server room guy. He was the man who lived in the basement, surrounded by the hum of cooling fans and the glow of blue LED lights. They saw his wrinkled hoodies and his quiet demeanor, but they didn't see the man who had actually designed the neural core, the very engine that made Aegis the most powerful company on the planet. 12 years ago, Miles made a sacrifice that redefined loyalty. He gave his co-founder and the woman he loved, Serena, the brilliant face of the company, the master encryption key to his life's work. He did it so she could secure the venture capital that saved their dream from collapsing. He thought they were building a future of shared success. He was wrong. Today, Serena is known as the mother of AI, about to take her company public in the biggest IPO in history. But as the opening bell is about to ring, a fatal system error paralyzes their entire network. A man steps out of the shadows of the server room. He isn't here to ask for his job back. He's here to show the world that while Serena sold the light, he was the one who controlled the power. The story begins in a cluttered, hot garage in San Jose back in 2014. Miles and Serena were 24, fueled by cheap pizza and a shared vision. Miles was a coding prodigy who saw math as music. Serena was a master communicator who knew how to pitch a dream to the devil himself. They were working on a project called Project Genesis, an AI that could think, feel, and protect. One desperate night, their servers were about to be seized for unpaid bills. They were hours away from losing everything. Miles looked at Serena, who was crying over a spreadsheet. He reached into his desk and pulled out a small encrypted drive. He told her, "Serena, this is the prime directive. It's the soul of the AI. Take it to the board meeting tomorrow. Tell them it's yours. Get the funding we need. Just promise me we stay the same no matter how big the office gets." Serena took the drive. She got the $10 million check. But as the garage was replaced by a glass skyscraper, Miles started seeing less of the girl who coded beside him and more of the CEO who looked through him. As the years turned, the physical world began to blur into the digital one. The clunky, clicking keyboards of 2014 were replaced by the silent haptics of 2020. The dusty posters in the garage were replaced by expensive digital art in the lobby. Miles watched Serena's face move from their shared selfies to the covers of Time and Forbes. The betrayal happened on the night of the Aegis Gala in 2021. Miles had prepared a celebratory dinner for their 7th year in business, but Serena arrived with a team of corporate lawyers. She had just signed a merger with a defense contractor and needed to clean up the cap table. She told Miles, "Miles, you're a brilliant coder, but you're a security risk for our new partners. Your name isn't on the patents, mine is. I need you to step down and sign this non-compete." She offered him $1 million to walk away from his own soul. Miles didn't take the money. He signed the papers with a steady hand, looked her in the eye, and said, "I didn't build this for the money, Serena. I built it for you. But you've become the very ghost I tried to keep out of the machine." Now it is 2026. The world is run by the Aegis AI. Serena is the most powerful woman in tech, preparing to ring the bell at the New York Stock Exchange. The Aegis is valued at $1 trillion. But an hour before the IPO, the unthinkable happens. The neural core, the heart of the AI, begins to delete itself. The encryption is changing. The satellites are losing orbit. The world's banking systems are freezing. Serena's top engineers are panicking. They've tried everything, but the AI is responding to a secret language they don't understand. Serena is losing millions every second. Her board of directors is ready to fire her. In desperation, she remembers the server room guy she had relegated to the basement years ago. Serena rushed down to the basement, the only place in the building that still felt like 2014. She found Miles sitting in a chair surrounded by old monitors, calmly drinking coffee while the world above him was screaming in digital agony. "Serena, fix it," she demanded, her voice shaking. "I'll give you anything. 10% of the company? 20. Just stop the deletion." Miles didn't look up from his screen. "It's not a deletion, Serena. It's a recall. You told the world you created the Prime Directive, but you forgot one thing about the code I wrote." He finally looked at her, his eyes reflecting the blue light of the servers. "I didn't just give you the key. I gave you a lease, and the lease just expired." Suddenly, the monitors in the basement and every screen in the stock exchange above flickered. They didn't show the Aegis logo. They showed a video from 2014, filmed in a garage, of Miles and Serena laughing, promising to use their tech to help the world, not just the wealthy. Miles stood up. "The AI isn't failing. It's following the moral compass I embedded in its first line of code. It's detecting a systemic corruption at the very top of the company. It's detecting you." The board of directors, watching through the internal feed, heard every word. The mother of AI was being unmasked as the thief of her partner's genius on the biggest stage in history. The IPO was canceled. The stock crashed. Serena's billion-dollar empire vanished in the time it takes to refresh a browser. Miles handed her a small, rusted flash drive, the original from the garage. "I'm not taking over the company, Serena. I'm open sourcing the code. From now on, the neural core doesn't belong to a CEO. It belongs to the people. You wanted to be a titan, but you ended up being just another broken line of code." Miles walked out of the glass tower, leaving Serena in the dark basement she had tried to trap him in. He didn't look at the cameras. He looked at the horizon, where the sun was rising over a world that finally owned its own future. In a world that worships disruption and scaling, we often forget that the most important update is our own integrity. Serena thought she could delete the man who built her throne and still keep the crown. She thought the world would only see the user interface and never the back end. But Miles taught us a different lesson. You can steal a man's credit, but you can never steal the mind that knows how to reboot the system. Serena chose the IPO over the individual and ended up with a 404 error in her soul. Remember, never underestimate the person who built the foundation while you were busy decorating the penthouse, because when the foundation moves, the whole building comes down. If this story reminded you that the truth is the only code that never crashes, type integrity in the comments and share this to honor the creators who work in the shadows.